All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So today I want to make a video about Chuck Sipes. Now, Chuck Sipes was known as the Iron Knight because he was an early era bodybuilder that was one of the strongest bodybuilders of that time period, and his lifts that he did back then are still considered to be pretty strong lifts to this day. So Chuck Sipes, like I said, he was a very strong guy. He lived from 1932 to 1993. He competed throughout the 50s and 60s, and unfortunately in 1993 he died at the young age of 61. Apparently he committed suicide because he was depressed, and apparently towards the end of his life he had some physical disabilities or physical injuries that didn't allow him to really be active or train, and I guess that led to depression, which led to his eventual suicide. But again, 1932 to 1993, very active bodybuilder in the 50s and mostly the 60s. So in competition condition, he was 5'9.5", so he's the exact same height as me, and he was 220 pounds on stage at his biggest in competition condition. So his contest history includes the 1959 IFBB Mr. America, the 1960 IFBB Mr. Universe, the 1967 NABBA Mr. World, and the 1968 NABBA Mr. World. Some of his measurements included a 19.5-inch arm, 50-inch chest, 32-inch waist, 25.5-inch thighs, and 18-inch calves. So this guy's metrics were very impressive. 19.5-inch arms was very, very big, especially for the 50s and 60s. That was a very impressive arm measurement for that period of time. So some of his best lifts, like I said, he was known as the Iron Knight. So here's some of his best powerlifting lifts that are on record. So he had a 570-pound bench press, which again is very impressive for that time period. For the 50s and 60s, a 570 bench is very impressive. Again, the first 700-pound bench press, I don't think it was done until the 80s, which would be, almost 30 to 40 years later. So he did a 600-pound squat, and there's no deadlift on record, but he does have a cheat curl of 250 pounds. Now, those of you that know anything about curling, my best cheat curl was about 185 pounds, and I've been strict curling for probably about 5 to 6 years now. So a 250-pound cheat curl is a very impressive cheat curl. Whether or not he used good form or used his back or what, it's called a cheat curl for a reason, but that's still a very impressive curl. So he did a lot of charity after bodybuilding. He was a very charitable guy. He did a lot of altruistic activities. He helped a lot of people with mental handicaps. He devoted a lot of time to helping troubled youths. And later in life, he was, a pretty devout Christian, and he spent a lot of time trying to convert, younger people to Christianity and try to help them out. So he was very devout and very charitable. And it's very sad that towards the end of his life, he ended up depressed and committing suicide. But that is the story of Chuck Sipes, the Iron Knight. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a little bit about a bodybuilder you didn't know about before. Please give the video a thumbs up. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.